everyone, welcome back to the More Than Muscle podcast. This is episode 2 of season 4, where we talk about fitness, mindset and community. I'm Andy Polides.
And I'm Natalie Polides, and today we're digging into the topic we see all the time. What's actually holding people back from getting involved in fitness and also staying consistent?
Yeah, barriers to participation. This is a big topic. Whether it's fear of judgment, financial barriers, or just not knowing where to start, these things are real. We see it daily, we see it on a weekly basis. They're valid, but today we're going to be breaking them down.
And of course, we've got community stories, practical tips, and cheeky challenge coming up later in the episode.
So yeah, let's deep dive straight into the discussion. There are some common barriers that we see daily. We see it with customers. We also see it with people that are prospects, people that are trying to come in to work with us and they're not quite sure where to begin. But, you know, there's psychological barriers, there's social and environmental factors, there's some practical barriers, and then there's obviously the knowledge and the fear of not knowing what to do, and that kind of kills confidence and things like that. There's gaps in people's knowledge there. But I think the first one that I would like to open up and speak to you about, Nat, is gym intimidation. I think that's the most common one. People feeling like they lack the skills or fitness levels. So let's open that up, because I feel like that intimidation is greater in people's head than it is in reality.
Yeah, I agree. I think gym intimidation, I don't know whether it gets worse or better the more that you go. But I think it's just like, I guess if you're that person who does get intimidated by places that you haven't been often, I know if I go to a new gym, I sometimes feel like I've got gym intimidation as well. But I really feel like having a plan or something that you're going in for actually really does help with that, and makes you like not think about it too much. But it is a real thing, gym intimidation. I think a lot of people do suffer with it.
Yeah, and it's definitely in people's head, or it's definitely greater in people's head than it is in reality.
Oh yeah, nobody's actually judging you when you go to the gym. They're probably more worried about themselves than anyone else coming in.
I do think that this is changing because of, you know, like episodes like today, there is more stuff being spoken about on social media, but people are definitely fear of being judged, or what their body image looks like, things like this. But I believe that it's just getting the exposure that you need, just beginning, and also finding environments where you can break down those barriers, because there's other people that have shown you the way, which is something that we spoke about in previous episodes. But the psychological barrier, in my opinion, is far greater in your own mind than it is in reality.
Yeah, I also think a lot of, just going back to social media and what people see online, like a typical gym isn't really what you would see online. I know it looks like everyone's got their outfits put together and everyone knows exactly what they're doing, and you walk in and there's a load of fit people with abs training, but gyms aren't actually like that. And if you go to a gym and you feel like it is like that, and you feel intimidated when you're going week in, week out, swap gyms, because not every gym is really like that.
Yeah, I would say that we've had inquiries in the past from prospects. We've had people speak to us, like friends and family, when we go out for dinners and things like this, and people are always like, "Core, they must be so athletic, those people that you train." And the reality is, most people that we are training, the reason why they're coming to us is because they have the same psychological barriers that you do, and we're kind of helping them get past that. So yeah, we've got down here about perfectionism and people always thinking about the ideology that there is like a perfect body shape, or a perfect, you know, I know everything about how to lift, or I'm going to be the heaviest or the strongest person in the gym. And the reality is the majority of people are in the same boat that you're at. And it's important that you remember those kind of things.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly natural to feel the gym intimidation, but I hope it doesn't stop you from going and carrying on with your journey.
I mean, what do you think about this one, Nat? So, body image issues. Research shows that in general, female adolescents report greater body image dissatisfaction than males, and a third of 18 to 24-year-olds and approximately half of 25 to 34-year-olds feel greater pressure to be thin than to be healthy. So, I don't know. What do you think about that?
So they're saying that it's greater in females than males.
Hmm.
I actually don't think that it's probably greater in females than
Yeah.
males. I think maybe females just speak more about it,
Yeah.
because we would discuss it more. But it is a really sad statistic. But I can't help but thinking that it has actually changed over the last few years for the better. I think more people are training, and more people are maybe conscious about having a healthier lifestyle than they ever have been. But then, because of the uprise of social media, TikTok, Instagram, I do think you have more of an awareness maybe of where you think that you should be. I say that in inverted commas, of where you think you should be. Whereas before, that was never really there. You were just working against yourself. But now we're working against images and people that are typically like the 1% of the fitness population.
Mm.
So, yeah, I think that's probably where that comes from.
Something that I've definitely noticed, particularly in the last 5 years, maybe even 10 years, is that there is more of a fitness fashion kind of movement going on now where people are coming to the gym because they want to fit in their favourite clothes. So I'm not going to plug, but I will. Gymshark and Vanquish and all these kind of, I'm sure you know way more than me, Nat, all these kind of brands that fit really nicely. But I feel like, I used to go to the gym with my Adidas and Nike and wear t-shirts that were baggy and whatever. These clothes are really fitted and there's definitely more skin being shown. How do you think that impacts people that feel like they're not ready to do that or don't ever want to do that in terms of judgment or feeling uncomfortable? Because I have seen it, like the gyms are filled with these people also.
Well, here's the thing, like the people promoting or wearing typically these brands that are online, and they're really accessible to us as well. We can see them everywhere. They, I guess they're kind of bodybuilders that they spend their life, and their life is dedicated to building their physique and wearing the clothes. Whereas realistically, for the majority of people, that doesn't match their life. So you're kind of running into a wall when you're trying to match your physique to that, when you're trying to hold down a full-time job, kids, um, social life. Like it's not the be all and end all, but I feel like that's where people are trying to hit is the 1%.
So, like, that moves me on to the next point with regards to barriers to participation. Obviously, social and environmental factors. So, do you think that there is, because we're speaking specifically for the standard gym, like the gym group or Anytime Fitness or something like that. But in terms of, do you think there's a lack of representation for inclusive spaces where, it might not be your thing to go to gym environments where there is like a population of people doing these things? Should you be going, breaking down the norms and doing your thing? Or should you be looking for more spaces that maybe represent the things that you like so you feel more at home? Like, how do you feel about those kind of things, you know, with regards to this kind of topic?
Yeah, so I think you like kind of like role models. Is that
Yeah,
what you're?
yeah.
Yeah.
Or
So
even just the space and like what it is, what it does, what it produces, what it feels like. I mean, last week with hats and the women in weightlifting, we spoke about our WWC group of girls and how that helped inclusivity and stuff like that. But yeah, how do you feel about these things?
yeah, I think having or being a member at a gym, you should. I think naturally there will be a lot more like different ages there, people working towards different goals. Hopefully, it's not all physique based. I feel like if you're a member at a gym that's just solely based on how you look, that can be quite toxic, and it's quite, I don't know, you step out of the gym once you've done your session, and I don't think it's very rewarding. as opposed to if you're a member of like a sports team or a performance-based gym, or you do performance-based classes. I feel like that's far more rewarding, and you usually get like the members that go are of all various ages. They all have various jobs, but you have that like one thing in common that you perform and you do each time you go there. And I think that's a much more positive avenue to take when it comes to joining a fitness facility. It doesn't have to be a gym, it could be a club, it could be anything.
Because like, you know, I think it depends, right? If you're just going for general fitness, the wider the variety of like things that it offers, the more different kind of walks of life of people you're going to find there. But like, for example, if it's I was going to say high rocks, if it's CrossFit, let's say, that you want to get better at, and you're looking to find your local box that provides you with CrossFit, then there's going to be some pressures there, especially if you're trying to be competitive. If you're not so bothered about the competitive side of things, then that's normal. But like, I think the environment plays a big part in what kind of pressures will come along with that, what standards might come along with that, and what pressures you'd put on yourself. And I think that's all part of your selection as well. If you're going to go really nichey, then you're going to have to expect some sort of clickiness that might happen there. And you would hope that these particular boxes would have different levels of inclusivity to get you in, and then you can slowly get yourself up the run of the standards of the different classes. Like, you're going to start at beginner and go all the way up to maybe an advanced level. But do you think that a lot of these boxes put pressure on people, or do you think they're quite welcoming?
I don't. I've been to various gyms or like niche places to train, and I don't know. I don't know whether it's me as a person just getting stuck into it and feel like, oh, they're welcoming, or whether you do. I don't know. I guess people with more gym intimidation would feel maybe left out slightly if everyone going to that class has been going now for 6 months and they know the ropes. What I would say is when it comes to maybe joining a group or a gym, is really just give it a go, and you're never going to be perfect the first time that you go in, and most people that you're probably joining in the class were at your point at one stage.
Yeah.
So I just think if you can just give something a go, if you've got like a slight interest in something, give it a go and give it some chance as well, give it some time.
I think a lot of it as well has to be looked at from within, because I think the majority of the time when you go to these places, they're actually really welcoming. It's just your own like perception that it's going to be intimidating or it's going to be a nasty environment, when the reality is it's about you finding the will within you to give it a go, like you say, and then all those barriers come tumbling down because you've actually you've dipped your toe in and you've had a look and you felt it, and people are quite welcoming. At the end of the day, these places want you. They want you to be there. That's how they grow also. So it would be completely wrong of them to be unwelcoming and not helpful. What do you think of this? Obviously, like, something that's really low level that can help you is going to these places, not as a one, but maybe as a two or a three, having some sort of like gym buddy or support system, or even, personal trainer, or, some sort of like person that you do it with.
Yeah. I think that's a great place to start. I think even if it's just somebody, like, I don't know, if your PT runs a class, then somebody there, like it's your coach. Or if you've never been to that gym before, drag your friend along.
I guess though, what I do want to say is make sure that you choose the right person, because we've seen it tons and tons of times, especially when it's like husband and wife going, and the husband is trying to dictate to the wife as if they are the personal trainer or they're like the elite athlete, and it's their little hour where they can be like, look at me, look what I lift, and it's pleasant for one person but not pleasant for the other. That's something that we've seen quite a lot.
Yeah, I think work colleagues that's a really good one, because there's like healthy competition there. I've seen like father and son, that is just bad, because
we've
the
seen
dad
that a lot.
always tries.
We see that a lot.
Yeah, that's just like injury central.
I've seen it where the son's like 16 and like the dad's like in his 50s and the son's doing marathons and hikes and the dad's just trying to keep up and you're like, mate, you just take care, yeah, because this kid is going, he's on flames and you need to look after, you've got work in the morning kind of thing. So I think it can be really healthy, but equally it can be really unhealthy. It's just about picking the right person and knowing that that person's got your best interest at heart, not their best interest at heart. Um, Okay, moving on to some of the practical barriers, because at the end of the day, these things cost money, and gym memberships can range from very, very cheap. You know, you see the 24-hour gyms that are springing up everywhere. I mean, Guildford has got two now, I think, or three actually.
Mm.
And you know, when I moved here 8-9 years ago, there was just the one. But then you've got your more premium luxury health club kind of things where it's not only expensive, they tend to lock you in for 12 months or whatever it is. But what do you think about the cost of gyms and how, you know, we're in a price of living crisis and economic crisis currently? How do you think that affects barriers to participation? Because essentially we still need to be healthy. We still need to train.
Yeah, I think that there's more of a variety now when it comes to what you have on offer in terms of pricing with fitness activities. So you do have gyms. I know some of them are like $12.99 a month, which if I get two iced coffees,
You get more than that, bro.
I know, but I'm just saying that's already $12.99, which is mad. But that's so I do think that there is that affordable option. Obviously, it's an unmanned gym. I think most of the 24-hour ones are. You get a code, you go in, you do your session, and leave. And that's, but then you could also go more premium as well. There is that offering. But also there's things like online as well. Most of it, a lot of it, if you're just doing YouTube stuff, that can be free.
Yeah.
But there's more of a variety now. So I think cost for gym memberships isn't maybe
As bad.
as what
Something
it
for
used to
everyone.
be. Yeah.
There's something for everyone. One thing I would say is like most of the gyms have a trial. So get your guest
Yeah.
pass, pay your day pass. Your day pass is probably a little bit more expensive than the rate it would be if you commit. But see if you're going to do it. We've seen this tons of times. People are like, yeah, you know, I'm going to train with you 5 to 10 times a week. I'm not going to eat anything and I'm going to do 100 classes. And it lasts about a week and then you crash and burn. But equally, you just signed up to the most premium gym membership. You're locked in for a year and then you use it once in the whole year. So I'd encourage you to use your guest passes. Go and try it out, see if it's the right thing. And then when you're spending more than what the monthly membership would be in guest passes, maybe you're showing yourself that you can do this and you want to do this. And then you can commit to something. I think the other thing is you just need a gym or a space to be doing your things. If it's classes that you need, then buy the pack that gives you the classes. If it's a gym space so that you can carry on doing your own thing, or as Nat says, you sign up to an online personal trainer or a trainer and you follow their plans, then you just need a gym space. But you know, if you want your sauna, your steam room, you want a space to do your work whilst admin is happening because, you know, people work from home these days and you need all the like benefits that come across with that, then look at your health club. But I think Nat's right in a sense of there is actually something for everyone now. And although the price of living is high, the cost of a gym membership can be factored in. You'll find your price point. For me, it's more about your value usage. And like we always see people even buying the cheap one and never using it.
Yeah.
For me, that's the biggest barrier. You're wasting your time and your money.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good one for you, Nat, and for me. Childcare responsibilities. Have you found training since little man has arrived? I feel like you train more than me, but yeah, I think this is a real big one. We have a lot of mothers that train with us, and they bring their kids and they end up sitting in the consult room while we train them and things like this. But yeah, I think this is a big barrier.
Yeah. Childcare responsibilities. That is. That's a real tricky one. I think that's a real barrier. I've got a baby boy. He's 5 months old. We we have a baby boy, and yeah, I think the gym that we go to and that we work within actually I guess it allows for me to have a pram on the gym floor. Like Dad is there as well. Like he can hold him, and we've got our other colleagues as well that work with us that can also entertain him. But I think if I didn't have a gym that just allowed a pram to be on the gym floor, um, then it would mean me having to leave him with somebody whilst I went to go and train, which will be less likely to happen. So that straight there is a barrier, and I haven't got anything to do with that. Is just what it is.
Yeah.
So I think until they start going to nursery or school as well, like it is a real barrier, because I know people say, oh, you should always put yourself first and then you'll be able to look after your little ones and be healthy for that. But also they do come first for a lot of it. So
Yeah, and I also think like even when they do go to school, nursery, whatever, you'll be in the midst of your like perfect workout. You're doing your snatch, your clean and jerk nat, you're in between, you just completed it. Now you're doing your back squats and you get a phone call saying, he's cut his leg, can you come in and pick him up? And then you're like, oh,
and then I send you.
then you send me, but I've got a client, so I've got to be there. But like, I think childcare is a real one. There's always going to be something popping up. And I think the reality is you have to adjust and manage how your workouts look, what the
Yeah.
marker of success looks like. You know, back in the day, it might have been hitting that 100-kilo back squat for you. But
No, like 100%. I walk into the gym sometimes. I do my warm up. I have to feed him, change him, and then I end up walking out. Like it doesn't always go to plan. But I think, okay, I've made the effort to go there. I've trained once this week. Maybe next week will be better. But I think just trying to factor that in, and
yeah.
we see what happens. That's kind of my approach now.
Yeah, I think, look, the next two wrap in really quickly. We'll just scan over them. Time constraints. Everyone is time poor. It's just about finding workouts that you can fit into your day. Transport and location is key, because at the end of the day, if your gym is like 2 hours away because that's the nice gym that you wanted to do, then the likelihood is you're probably not going to do it, because when you think about your work-life balance, these issues are going to come. So I think it's about finding things that are low-level barriers so that you can get them done, because you know, consistency, you start snowballing forward, motivation goes up, you want to do things, you see results, and the whole thing works. As soon as you put up these barriers that are not needed, and you're making it hard for yourself before all the real major ones like childcare, you're really just killing your chances. And then lastly, you know, there's a knowledge and confidence gap. People are always thinking, how do I start? Where do I start? What happens if I do it wrong? I've had a bad experience with a PT before, because we know that the standard of PTs in general is not the greatest, which is why I'm going to plug more to muscle, because we are the best. But how do you feel about those things, Nat?
Not knowing how to start, that's a big thing. People put that off and off for ages. And the best thing is to just start, and you will figure out as you go. You get help, and yeah, that kind of snowballs. Fear of doing it wrong. Like no one actually cares what you're doing, and we've all done it wrong before, and it's just how you learn.
And if it's not safe, then just ask.
Yeah, but I mean, most things are, you're not gonna put your back out by just like doing a wrong bicep curl. Like just most people in the gym, especially the personal trainers or the fitness instructors on the gym floor, they will happily help you if you ask, oh, is this okay? Am I doing this right? Yeah, and if you're my client, I get you to film it, and then I can coach you that way. But it's fear of doing it wrong. That's a big thing. But you'll never look silly. Just crack on and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had clients say they've walked past the gym for 6 months before ever walking in, and we know that fear is real. So I don't know what you think about that, Nat. But sometimes that fear in my head is just logistics in their head. And at the end of the day, if you're working 2 jobs, you've got kids, you're feeling lazy, it's all bandwidth problems that you might have. How do you feel about that? Just to wrap it up this section, but how do you get those thoughts out of your head? Because I feel like they're the thoughts that most people have.
Yeah, I think it's not laziness. It's just having, I guess, organising yourself in a way which gives yourself a chance. That's the main thing. So if you are fearful of going to the gym and you do need help, then maybe get your gym buddy or get a personal trainer for a few sessions. If you feel like it's childcare, then maybe set something up once a week at the start to then get yourself back into things. If it's knowledge, then maybe have a little try at home with some exercises, and then when you feel confident enough to do it, then try it out in the gym.
Yeah.
So I think, I think it's just giving yourself a chance and setting things up for yourself to succeed.
Cool. Well, we're going to have a little fun game now. We're going to test the pro, and that's the pro. I'm going to read out some quotes that we've heard in the past from people. And Nat, I just want you to respond how you would respond to a client if they said that to you or to a prospect. Be honest. Keep it PC. So the first one is, I'll start when I lose the weight first.
Oh, I've heard this so many times. No, start now. Yeah, you start heavy, start light, start weak. Wherever you're at, you need to start before
Just get
before
going.
any of that. Yeah.
Stop procrastinating.
Yeah.
I don't want to look stupid trying something new.
I think everyone has to look stupid at some point to get better at the thing that they wanna get better at. I definitely have.
Yeah, this is a common one. Everyone at the gym looks like they know what they're doing.
Well, that's a lie.
Yeah, I know. You just have to walk around and have a look. Yeah, exactly. It is a lie, and it's a lie in your head. I don't have the gear or nice workout clothes.
Well, neither do I. Sometimes I just chuck on some shorts and a pajama top.
Or just get yourself shopping, man. Go enjoy some shopping.
No, most people don't actually like their gym outfits don't actually match.
Yeah.
That's just something you see a lot online. Like, I definitely just put on some shorts or some leggings and then a baggy t-shirt, which sometimes does work out that it sometimes is my pajama top, but it doesn't affect my session. Like, just crack on.
So the last one is, and I've heard this one 100 times, I failed before, so what's the point? Can't be asked.
Well, you could either try something new and try failing at that.
Try something new to fail at.
Or, I've failed loads of times and I've cracked on with it. It's just like, I don't think you fail. I think you just like try things and they don't really work. So then just crack on again. Yeah.
So like, okay, moving on to the next section, we're going to scan through this. How do we help people overcome their barriers? Like when they come and see us, prospect has inquired, they're giving us all those things that they've asked us. What are some of the things that we do to try and help people bring the barriers down?
So I really think that as we're demonstrating and talking them through the sessions, we're actually constantly looking for feedback. We want to make them feel like they are the only person in that room, like it's just us. All our eyes are on them. And we want to understand kind of how they're feeling the exercises, that they're actually learning about the exercises and where they should be feeling it as well, just so that it then sticks into their head. There's little points then that when they go to the gym by themselves that they can pick up on and that they can follow. But I think the main thing that I always try and do is that I really want people to feel comfortable within the gym. So yeah, I may joke around but I also want to teach people how to move their body, and that it's not a strict and a serious thing. Your health and fitness should actually make you feel better about yourself, not make you feel worse.
Yeah. And I feel like, look, one of the major things that we do is offer a free consultation to begin with. And the reason why we do that is we really want to understand the person that walks through the door. At the end of the day, one of the things that grinds my gears in the personal training space especially, but in fitness, is, you know what, I'm just going to give you what I like. I like bodybuilding, so you're going to bodybuild. I like powerlifting, so you're going to powerlift. What we want to do is meet the person at the level that they're at, understand their work-life balance, the needs that they have, and then try and build a picture around what you can achieve. Because at the end of the day, I think if we can get some small wins out of you to begin with, your confidence skyrockets. And we see this over and over again. as soon as that skyrocket of confidence happens, motivation grows, it's like a domino effect. You see a completely different person. You actually see the real person. The barriers have come down and you see what that person really wanted from stuff. And then that's when the fitness and the health and everything else starts growing. And you see that just imparted on everything else that they do in their life. So I guess just on that point, we'll move into the next section. Some community stories, some clients. Nat, can you think of anyone who you'd want to big up who maybe at the beginning was in a little bit of a pickle, was thinking about how do I begin, and now we've just seen a complete 360?
Yeah, but
Put you
I'm
on
not
the spot.
gonna. No,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
don't need
gonna
to name
out
them.
them.
You don't need to out them.
Yeah, no, I've got a few clients actually that come to mind when you speak about that. But I would say typically it would be, I have a lot of clients in their like 40s, women, and I guess they've just got into a bit of a rut. I guess with have quite a good job that requires quite a lot of hours. They have kids, and maybe their health and fitness has taken a bit of a backseat. And I just love watching them perform and progress and build their confidence when it like in the gym, and then see that them flourish on the outside world as well, when it comes to their work, when it comes to doing speeches, when it comes to kids sports days. Like, I love seeing that transition through with confidence.
Yeah, and we've got quite a few people in similar ways. We've got, mothers bringing their children's in, leaving them in the mess room or in the assessment room while they go and train, and now they're picking up more than you can even imagine off the floor. But again, I think what Nat's honing in on is we see that reflected back in family life, daily life, work life. And again, it's just about starting, bringing down those barriers. My dad used to say this, he still says this: if you see a door, kick it down, go through it, because you'll learn more about what's on the other side of it. And I think that's what we want you guys to take away from this episode. So with that being said, we want to thank you. Thanks for listening. There's more episodes coming. Just remember, everyone deserves access to movement and strength. One of our biggest sayings is enabling everyone to live their best life through health and fitness. And for us to do that, we have to allow you guys to really kick those barriers down. So yeah, thank you so much. Nat, you want to plug us?
Yeah, we are on all the socials, More Than Muscle or More Than Muscle Ltd. Instagram. We've also got YouTube as well, and you can listen to our other podcasts.
Sure. And the website is morethanmuscle.co.uk if you want to find out a bit more about what we do. Find our podcast plugged in there. And if you want that free consultation to start kicking those barriers down, just click the button and I'll be in contact. So until the next one.
Thank you very much for listening.
Bye.